Anyway, going to the S&P, all-time highs. Ta-da! We did it. We made it. Good job. Again, I kind of think the grind continues. We do need to notate this zone right here. The puts I bought the other day, I locked them in when we got down here. I almost bought them back when we pumped up. Glad I didn't make that. Like I told you guys on Sunday, when I buy these puts, I'm waiting for a leg down, and then I'm just gonna lock them in. So hopefully we don't melt off into the dirt. So played that out pretty nicely. However, I'm very much back and forth on this. This might be something that I just only talked with my mentorship group about. I go live with them every day. I'm in the chat all day. Like I'm connected to my phone, so it's why they just know everything. Uh, but I don't know if I'm going to front run the risk and buy puts before the sell off, or do I wait? Because I say this all the time, right? One day that red candle is going to be followed by another red candle. And that's usually the better time if you're going to play the short play. If you're going to speculate something like that, go short when everyone else is going short. And I'm really back and forth on, do I front run it, buy the puts before when they're cheap? Do I spend a couple more dollars and wait for like a reversal, a real red day? So I wish I had an answer right now, because what sucks is I'm going to end up talking about it one day, like, hey, here's the puts I'm in, and they're up a bunch, and it's, since you guys see this, um, I just don't know when that's going to happen, because it's going to be a price action thing, not really a price level thing. When I see so what happened last time in 2020? So I called it out the literal day before because of what I saw in the markets. So it wasn't just a coincidence, and I didn't get lucky. I've talked about three crashes right now, total, on my whole YouTube career. Every one of them happened. So not to my own horn, but I'm not a fear monger. Okay. But what I specifically saw that day was it looked like somebody big got out of the markets. The way things worked, and I even said, "Hey, if tomorrow we sell off, it's bad news bears, and it's time to go short." And we nailed it. We rode the Rona crash down. It was amazing. Some of the most money I've ever made. Uh, so if I see something like that again, we're going in. And unfortunately, I'll just be talking about it later that night. But that's just where my head's at on this stuff right now. I hate I like to tell everybody the plays before I get in them. Even now, I'm talking about plays that I'm going to get in. I don't like talking about it like after, because anybody can do that on YouTube. But the S&P, I think we continue to grind up. But again, this is really reminding me of like a Tesla play running up into an event. And I wonder if the excuse is going to be tax loss harvesting. Oh, everyone's just tax loss harvesting. And we're down 20%. The thing is, if the S&P is going to go down 20%, let's say it even corrects 10%. For those of you guys that don't know, a pullback up to 9%, a correction 10 to 19%, a crash 20% is more. When I say the words, I know their meaning, and I say it for their meaning. So if anyone ever says that was a 4% crash, you just stop listening to them. Correct them one time, maybe. Tell them, figure it out. Don't ever say that again. Irks me when people say that. But anyway, hear me out. If the S&P is going to crash or correct 10 to 20%, what do you think individual stocks are going to do to create that? You're going to get obliterated. Okay, so this is why most people lose when they pick individual stocks. I do it all the time. But if you just don't know what you're doing, you don't have that experience, and your allocation is messed up, this is where you're going to get caught with your pants down. So I'd be very mindful of that for the remainder of this year and beginning of next. 20%. That's a lot of harvesting. It is. It's Jeepers Creepers style harvesting. Okay. Who knows? But anyway, we're getting to that season where all the YouTubers gonna start talking about that. S&P still plenty. I think we're gonna hit the upper edge. NASDAQ right now we're playing ping pong. So we went. If we really break it down, I gotta say my admin Cody killed it from zone to zone, zone to zone, and then again. So I don't know if he played it today, but this just went yellow box to yellow box, yellow box to yellow box. Almost made it up there again. Made it to the speed bump zone. Sold back off. Playing the game of ping pong. Right now, I gotta say I would be long long NQ with the stop below the zone. I'd put it right below that green wick. Now that's kind of where I'd be at. As a matter of fact, just so you guys know, I'm going to take that. I'm about to wrap this up here because I do have to get to my Zoom session with my group. But I am going to go long in Q in that transition. So we'll see how well that pans out. Just know that if that's green tomorrow, I made a whole bunch of money. If it broke this, I tagged out. Got the short twice today. Nice. Yeah. Overall, just a hanging out day. The Russell killed it yesterday. Financials really did, pulled back today. If it wasn't for kind of tech pushing up, the S&P probably, if these two ever lined up, if tech's had a bad day with financials having a bad day, markets are going to be destroyed. For now, all that is a pullback. I really would worry more about shorting the Russell up here in this yellow zone. And guys, I'm breaking down the futures. Quick shout out, Robinhood is getting futures. That's going to be amazing. But you guys probably recognize the tickers SPY, QQQ, and IWM. Again, futures are what drive the order flow into that. If you've ever played a gap fill on SPY or QQQ or IWM, it's because you just don't know what's going on or how things work. It's not a real play. Sorry if that offends some of you, but gaps on an ETF are nothing. Notice there's no gaps here because this is continuous. The one time there was a gap, we called it out, and well, there was a lot of follow through later that day. So anyway, keep that in mind. As far as the Russell goes, we did hit the expected move today and kind of pulled back. This red line right here, Tom Lee thinks IWM is going to be 300 by the end of the year. So if you have a lot of faith in him, you're about to see the most meteoric rise you've ever seen in your life. And I don't know why you wouldn't hold account. Hood is a good stock too. It has been. The S&P 500 overbought. I agree. But I again, if for everyone on TikTok, if you guys want to catch the beginning of this, go to YouTube to Don Fron Trading, where I talked about the S&P. Yes, I do think it's overbought. I think it's going to continue a little bit higher before we do sell off. Let's see. What's Casey calling a joke? I might be serious. She says that's a joke, y'all. I haven't been joking. When will the Bitcoin surge start? Good question. Watch this right here. Focus up. Put your nose on your phone. Okay? Get as close as you can as to this. Here's your lower highs trend line. Here's that zone. Getting above 69. I think we start to go for it. All-time high is going to be that 74.